follows 1 million.
You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today, your edge when investing.
You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Howard here with your pre-market watch list, pre-market run through prep, whatever you want to call it there. Markets are actually pretty resilient here this morning. They were headed down earlier. They are now starting to get some steam under them. Excuse me. We have continuous job claims coming out, jobless reports and all that. I'll get to that data in 1 second. But let's take a look what the markets are doing. NASDAQ yesterday ended up the day up 1.67%, 655.11 where it closed. All-time high hit yesterday, 655.33. And again, we are right around that range still here today. S&P, very similar setup, right? It broke to an all-time high, 712.39. Did not finish quite at it, and we are slightly below yesterday's close, but we are doing a nice job of battling back up towards the highs or coming off the highs of the morning here in the last 20 minutes or so. Tweet analysis in general has been to a minimum this morning. But what everybody's talking about, of course, is still what's going on in the Middle East. We've extended the ceasefire. They did not reopen the strait where traffic was little changed between Tuesday and Wednesday. Iranian leaders still said that the maritime passageway will remain closed as long as the U.S. continues its naval blockade of their ports. In the middle of all this, the Pentagon did announce yesterday that Secretary of Navy John Phelan is leaving the administration effective immediately. The undersecretary will take the position for now. The International Energy Agency again has, cried wolf. It's the biggest energy security threat in history. You listen to those folks and it's all over. But with that being said, oil broke back above 100 yesterday. It did come back down towards 96.65. But, it is interesting, or to me at least almost surprising, to be able to see the resiliency of the markets, to see the NASDAQ break to an all-time high, the SPY break to an all-time high, the Dow Jones get, back within striking distance of that, while we see gas at, or oil anywhere up to $100. So I do think that's interesting. It's something that I said before, right? That the markets were pricing in $90 barrel of crude into the market, and I felt that they priced it in, and that's when things started to move back up. So, that thesis does seem to be playing out. Biggest, earnings so far, obviously, has been our friend Elon Musk and Tesla, and the initial reaction was to the upside here. And then it sold off very, very quickly and swiftly here, as you can see, right on the start of the announcement when they went through where earnings were, shot up all the way to 406. And then as they talked about how much money they're going to spend, and we'll break this down a little bit later, you can see they have fallen back down to that 375 level. So I have noticed too, every analyst that had been bullish on Tesla going into earnings has been on TV trying to justify the earnings results and why they're not really that bad. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's get through the rest of our morning stuff. The VIX is now coming back down. It was elevated above 20 again, or right at the $20 handle, back around 1919 here, and it still is up about 1.5% there. So volatility not really playing a major role in what's going on. Rates have drifted slightly to the downside. Again, no real major change for the better part of this month. We've been, pretty much locked in just below 4.3 if we use the 10-year as our gauge on that. Dollar is sitting right around at 98.70, so it has picked up a little bit of steam also here over the last 4 or 5 days, breaking back through the 200-day simple moving average and to the upside. Gold unable to get back above 4,800, and as I mentioned, it just has gone pretty much sideways since, again, April 1st. Silver did retrace a little bit. So we had been talking about through last week that silver was showing a little bit more of a move to the upside than gold did. It has now retraced that, and we see a similar setup with where gold, silver, traded at 74.89 back on April 1st, and it hit that level today. It is slightly above it. It actually bounced nicely off of that level, quite honestly. But that is what we are seeing across metals. I said that, oil, while dropping to the downside, still elevated at 96.70 through the use of Brent. Bitcoin was not able, as I talked yesterday, that 79. It played out almost exactly as I said yesterday. We did see the break of 79, squeezed it to 79.5. Got to 79.523 or so, and then did pull back, and when it broke below that 78 200 level, it did break to the downside also. So recovering here in 77,800. To me, it's got to get back above 78,200 to make me think that we are, that's sort of the line in the sand for the upward movement. You got to get back above that, hold above that. You hold 78.2, it does open the upside. Rejected at that 78.2 area, and any move back below 77.2, and you've got to look for a downside towards 76. So it could be a pretty volatile day in Bitcoin overall. STRC is still trading below 100, 99.44. It did get up to 99.50 something or so, 54 it looks like, in the pre-market. So it is moving back towards the $100 level. Again, I am perfectly fine with it not getting to 100 for a little bit. Let's let some other people buy. I had my ETF numbers up. I took them off my screen here. Hold it 1 second. It was a good day of inflows yesterday. About $335 million came in. The majority of it across IBIT, of course, but a solid days of inflows across the ETFs yesterday. So extended ceasefire, Bitcoin, trade still in play. do need to see here, like I said today, it's more about this little bit of liquidation more that could push us to the downside. You really don't, because of how they cleared out the liquidations that were sitting above that 79,000 level. You got to get almost to 80 to really see liquidations help you in a meaningful way to the upside. Ethereum did not hold its key fib level yesterday either. So key today is sort of regaining that 2375 area. It's got to get above. If it doesn't, it's probably looking for a pullback to the 2275, 2250 area. So everything's, in place for Bitcoin to see a continuation to the upside. It just actually needs to see the start of that move to the upside for that thesis to play out. If you look at the crypto adjacent stocks, most of them are down, but not giving back, the full gains that they made yesterday. Mara was up 5%. It's only down a half a percentage point. So again, muted so far. If Bitcoin can hold that 78,250, I think it's rather positive. And you could see some of these crypto adjacent names run. We definitely give them some legs to do so. Let's look at what the overseas markets are showing us so far. It is mixed bag to slightly negative in that the Kospi. So I'd be watching semis today. I'd be watching that part of the tech sector. The Kospi up almost a full percentage point, while the other three that I watched, the Nikkei, the Hong Kong through the Hang Seng, and the stocks to watch Europe are all in the red. So again, that not an auspicious start there. And if we look at the sectors of the S&P so far, a little bit of a mix and match here. You've got finance, banks up slightly, it looks like 4 basis points. You've got communications up slightly, 28 basis points. Consumer staples up. So you've got more of a defensive play, utilities up and energy up. So while, what we're seeing is a little bit more of a defensive setup so far to the day, technology is down about a half a percentage point here so far.
Any sort of, resolution to the Iranian conflict, or even just oil prices hang out in the $80 range.
And if we look at the Mag 7, a little bit of a mixed bag with Apple having a positive day. They were up about 2.63% yesterday. Again, this is sort of a follow through on the, Tim Cook leaving, stepping down, the new CEO. Most of the articles I have seen so far have been extremely positive when it comes to that, to him coming from the, more tech side, the equipment side. People seem to think that could be good for the company. So like to see that move to the upside. Google down slightly. Microsoft getting hit here, giving back all of yesterday's gains. So again, partnerships with the AI companies was moving it up yesterday. Not sure what's moving it down today. NVIDIA pretty flat today, so we'll take a look at the chips in a second. Amazon is up slightly. They go into earnings here next week on Wednesday. Meta down about 1%. I told you about Tesla and their reaction at 275 after their earnings came out. We'll look through those numbers here in a second. And then another name I always keep an eye on because I don't know why, I just do. Netflix up about 1.33 after it looks like, if they're not going to buy Paramount, then they might as well buy back some of their own shares. They're going to buy back about $25 billion in shares through, I think, 2030 or so. So, decent amount of lead time there. But that's still good for them. Movers so far this morning, QuantumScape, QS, up about 30%, 4% yesterday also. Made it as high as 970 here before pulling back to its current level. This was an earning. This was after their earnings came out. So again, they had strong earnings. They said their Eagle Line pilot production was ramped up, driving their new QSE5 cell output and quality improvements. Customer billings, reached 11 million in Q1 with strong liquidity, and they reiterated the 2026 guidance, expansion into AI data centers and defensive complements core automotive focus. So good for QuantumScape. Again, they used to be really designing chips that went into autos, was the majority, if not almost all of their business. Looks like they're now moving into solid state lithium metal battery generation, not just for cars, but also for other parts of the industry and AI data centers. So that's an interesting one there that has them up really nicely. Another earnings beat was URI. Let me find my notes here.
Get Simply Safe today with no long-term contracts or cancellation fees, so you're not locked in. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
I just have the thing. Oh, they raised guidance. That was the change for them. So URI up about 15%. Nice move. 925 here. Decent little spot. For a run back up here. So nice move up by URI. Also, some others that are moving up here so far this morning. Mobileye Global. This is on a buyback also, if I'm not mistaken here, that they announced in their earnings. I really hate ChatGPT's new commercial. The music just drives me nuts. So it looks, no, not a buyback. I don't know why I had that in my mind, but I did have that they were doing a buyback, but it actually looks like the Mobileye is also tied its advanced product roadmap to Volkswagen's commercial robotaxi push, which is targeting service in several cities by the end of 2027. But Mobileye moving up nicely either way. Texas Instruments also had a strong move to the upside. Has some of the chip names, so let's actually pull up the chip names.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders this morning. It's good to see you, Governor.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
And you can see they're up about 10%. You also can see that analog devices up 3.6%. NXPI up about 3.6%, microchip. So definitely the different sector, not the major names. The major names are actually getting hit here a little bit. You know, NVIDIA's in the red, Broadcom in the red, TSM down over a percentage point, ASML down close to 2%, almost 3% in the last two trading sessions, and even AMD, which had the really strong day yesterday, pulling back. So we do see there is some select names within the chip sector that are moving up. I also wanted to check while we're here.
Republican position going into the midterms at this point?
You know, I think Republicans are still in a good position. Historically, midterms are not easy.
To see banks, because financials were up, but they're definitely not the bank side of it. So American Express was the big winner there, AXP.
Like we're doing here in my home state of Arkansas. We've been able to cut taxes already 3 times since I got elected in the last couple of years. We're on track to do another tax cut here in the next few weeks. We will have knocked off 25% of our state income tax, returning north of $1.5 billion to taxpayers. Not only are
trying to find the info there
to zero on our state income tax, I also got rid of one of the most regressive tax, the grocery tax here in the state of Arkansas, making it easier for families to afford to put food on their table.
I am getting breaking here on CNBC. Trump orders Navy to shoot and kill any boat laying mines in the strait. I just got that across Bloomberg and CNBC. So that is being hit on by everybody. Is that doing anything to the market? Looks like the first reaction was to the downside, but pretty quickly seems to have recovered there. So, and the bad news for those of you that did not listen to BigBeat, Avis CAR absolutely slaughtered here, down 37, almost 38% yesterday, another 9% here this morning. So, you know, a combined 45, almost 50% retraction on Avis. This was the one we said was a squeeze. BigBeat said it's crazy. He wanted to short it, didn't know when he would do it. And it just absolutely crashed 50%, and it will be lucky if it holds on here. You know, really look for a move up further back down, as he pointed out yesterday with AMC and some of these others. They don't just go; they will eventually go to where they should be. You know, and keep in mind, this still has them. Oh, I don't know if it adjusted yet. I think it did. Yeah, no, this does. Yeah, $15 billion company. Which is not what they are worth. We looked at Hertz yesterday, you know, and they're $5 billion companies. So that means you still got a lot of room to the downside. But that crash, you know, just like GME, just like AMC, and this thing was yesterday, they saw 200,000 contracts trade with an implied volatility of 235%. And just to keep it in mind, to put that in, you know, into comparison, the S&P's average volatility is 20%. So it was so high that brokers started to change margin requirements on it. So it's, yeah, and it's done. Don't think it.
When your enemy keeps telling you that, at some point you have to.
Don't think they all come back. Oh, you know, we can get them back again. What I am pulling up here is the chart of AMC. You know, again, went to 300 and, you know, 50, 60 bucks, and today trading at $1.71. GME has, I believe, fared a fraction better. No, not really, because it went up higher. No, I guess it didn't. So it's held up better, but it's lost over 75% of its value. So even at best case scenario, it returns to what GME did. You're still got another, you know, another leg of downside in front of that first. And GME went lower before it came back higher. So again, BigBeat did warn you. We warned you yesterday. I hope you were listening. And we know that, you know, Pentwater Capital and SRS were the ones that were on the other side of the trade. So everybody will be looking to see how did that play out. But if you ask me how it probably played out, is they were able to cover their positions now, and they're okay because they were buying and shorting all the way up. And the retail is going to be the one that's on the other side of that, right? So unfortunately, that tends to be what we see here. One in that, hey, payback is a you know what. FICO is down today. I just make fun. Number one, Fair Isaac Corporation, how that is. FICO, Steve has told me a few times, BigBeat, but I never remember what the story is there. But FICO is down here about another 9%. This is after Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac both announced they would start accepting other types of credit scores. They're going to accept Vantage Score, a rival that's owned by Equifax. So that that has them definitely under a decent amount of pressure here so far today.
Nuclear capabilities when your stated mission is to remove our existence. I think he's right to take.
Do have LMT came out of earnings today and was not faring well. We'll see if that's still the case here. Lockheed Martin, yep, they are down between yesterday and today, you know, about 6% here. They did have an actual earnings miss, and it's been tough for defense stocks in general this week. They hit first quarter earnings of $6.44 a share from sales of 18 billion, and that was down from estimates of 674 or so. Stay very similar on top line revenue. A year ago, they had an EPS of 727 on about that same 18 billion. So profitability down, sales stagnant. That is not a good sign for the market and or for them, and it has them down. They're down about 6% for the week, and then we've also seen Northrop Grumman also back off from their free cash flow numbers and move down after their earnings there. So it's been a pretty common theme, quite honestly, that we've seen that from it. We do also have American Airlines, AAL, up about 1.48% here this morning. They did have earnings. Biggest takeaway, similar to what we saw earlier, is that the surge in fuel cost is going to add billions to their expenses this year. They said that they could post an adjusted per share loss of 40 cents to $1. So not good. Estimates had been for a profit, not a loss. Airlines have been cutting their full year forecasts and holding off on further guidance because of the volatility on prices for jet fuel. What they did note is that business travel is back, especially within the U.S., and that premium buyers or premium travelers are paying whatever the new price is for the seats and still booking their travel at those elevated prices. So they don't have more sales. What they had is they have more profit from their sales, is what they pointed out in the past. American Express was another one that showed the K economy. So that's going to be a big topic with BigBeat here when we come in. Of course, will be the K-shaped economy, because American Express, while down 1% here, had been moving up after their earnings. And what they pointed to again is that there's a lot more spending by the affluent consumer. They were tracking restaurants are up 10%. Their Resi, which is the high-end reservations at even higher-end restaurants, was up over 20%. Use by their platinum members was up even higher than the means. So again, what we do see is that, you know, folks that have it are spending it, and that's fueling, you know, companies like American Express, but also a good channel check into what we're seeing across the board there. And that was that. Another sector that has been moving up today is the cannabis sector. Tilroy, Compass, a bunch of those all move into the upside here after the president reclassified cannabis, which will expand its use into scientific research. Do want to point out that most of all these changes that are coming have to do with the use of these for medical reasons and the ability for it to open up money for grants, the ability for certain trials to take place and such.
See you here tomorrow.
Sorry there. Did want to mention Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders will vote today on the sale of over to Paramount. So we do have that today. And we'll go from there. Let's run it. I see he's in here. It is the top of the hour. Let's get the big man in.
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, Big Beat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
BigBeat, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, Howard. The world's changed a little bit. I keep hearing from everybody, oh, let's wait until earnings season. Let's wait till earnings season and see what's going on. And earnings season is here, and I'm not really seeing anything, right? I'm not seeing anything that just changes my mind about what's going on in the world. And, you know, it's interesting. And one of them I'm going to take a flyer on today, which is IBM, right? Getting completely beaten up and they had great numbers this morning, and I liked IBM here, and I think IBM is a 234.18. I'm going to wait till they open, I think, a little bit before I go in, because I think the spread here is still a little wide. The spread is well, not 60, not down to 60 cents. Okay, $1.60. Okay, wow, still a little wide. But I like this a little bit here, right? I think that you know, you had to look at the future, and guidance was not what I wanted to hear. They reaffirmed guidance. Okay, well, I understand that, but they wanted to hear more than that, and they beat on every top line, bottom line, things that people were expecting. AI, they were leaders, so you don't beat up leaders. You beat up Ava's cart, you know, which Ava's got.
I didn't see you in there listening to me when I was talking about that part, but I did say, you know, again, we warned. You brought it up yesterday, and down. I already showed them AMC to show how they don't come back. GME, you know, has done the best, and that's still, you know, that would give you 50% more downside from where you're at to get to that point. And
I think it's back to 100.
You know, yeah. Oh, it's just crazy. Yeah. So we saw that, and I'm sure, as you pointed out yesterday, retail was the loser because those two companies, I'm sure they were shorting all the way to the top. So they've closed out already. They're probably sitting there very nicely, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the institutional money, and look, getting a locate yesterday was very tough. I mean, locating shorts, it was very tough yesterday because they knew it was going. Institutions were already preparing for it. Retail got slammed, and it sucks. You know, they were exit liquidity, as we always say, and it's terrible.
It was like 200,000 contracts traded yesterday. Yeah, like I said, I just looked at the numbers and I was like, that's just insane.
I mean, you know, you scream.
You know, I got to say, though, I got to give credit to our folks. I haven't heard from anybody that was playing that to the upside. So
No.
at least,
I played the upside once.
We got a couple of FOMO kings and our friends.
Hey, I did a couple of days ago. I played the upside and crushed it, right? Because I mean, look, you know, I'm going to surf the wave a little bit sometimes, but no, this was nuts. This was literally nuts. I don't know what people were thinking. Retail can't afford a $600 stock. It's not normal, right? You're going to play the options.
Yeah, well, they were buying. Yeah, most of them were buying huge out of the money options to try to mitigate that. That didn't work. Like I said, you know, we said it wouldn't work, you know, and it didn't work. And you end up there.
Yeah.
K-shaped economy. We got to talk about that. You know, American Express Platinum members spending more. Restaurants. They're spending more in restaurants.
I have a platinum card.
Restaurants are up 20%. Like as you went up the spectrum, the numbers got better. You know?
The rich got rich and the poor got poor, and that's what happened in this economy. We knew this was going to happen when the election was over. That's if you didn't think that was going to happen, then I don't know what to tell you. You know, look, and I don't want to get political again, but it's where we're at right now. When the president is tweeting every 5 seconds, we have to understand that tweets, right? We get tweet analysis. But you look at it right now, the president hasn't had a win since he began this administration. If you think about it, he's going to get us out of all the wars. We now have 5. We're supposed to get out of all of them.
He added to wars, not
he's added to them, right? We were supposed to have a better economy. Okay, the stock market's up, but the stock market isn't for everybody, right?
Not the economy, yeah. No,
right, it's not the economy. And, you know, I do see the new numbers for unemployment, and I think they're at least slowing down, but I don't know if those numbers are correct. AI is going after your job. So, you know, and that's something he can't help. That's not his fault.
Right.
But I will say, you know, the marijuana thing, I like that. I like what he's done with marijuana. He's reclassifying it. That's good. And laying off the people getting arrested for that. Good morning, Zora. You know, there's a lot of things here that are happening that are just not good. And like I said, we talked about this yesterday. You know, the number of people that are unhappy is very high, and things have to change. And they're not. And I'll tell you, the redistricting in Virginia has got a lot of Republicans up in arms. But hey, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. You do it in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's one right. That's where neither side does it right. You know, I gotta say, Steve, CNBC was talking today, and they, you know, because they had their polls and their folks. And again, what I've been afraid of, what you and I talked about recently, is showed up in the polls. The ones on the left say we're not even, the Democrats aren't far enough to the left for them. The ones on the right say the current administration is not far enough to the right for them.
Oh dear God, seriously.
You know, it means it's going to be even less of that middle ground. Where are you going to get, you know?
I want the middle ground. Give me the middle ground again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We both are that. You know, and that doesn't seem, that's not good. You know, so that's what you've got.
You know, I had chats over the weekend with friends, and they also the same thing. Just leave me alone. Like, you know, why is the government shoving down all these policies down my throat? Just leave us alone. We're okay. Like, we can do our own thing. We know how to take care of our families, and that's a problem. And the Republicans have added more bills and more laws to us than even the Democrats did in the last 8 years. That's shocking to me. Oh no, that's not happening. Yeah. And the bill's coming up right now in the House for the funding bill that's not even funding anything. So it's like, get it done, right? And we're not seeing that. And I think that's why people are having that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Same thing American said, you know, they can sell every business class seat they've got at a nice premium, people paying for it, business travel back in general. They're not going to be profitable. One of the reasons you don't invest in airlines, as you've mentioned, even with all that good news, the fact that jet fuel's up. And Steve, how is the market going up when Brent broke 100 yesterday?
Stupid is and stupid does. I mean, you know, I don't know how I'll say it. I mean, I talked about this, right? We're hearing now reports that American Air will be on forefront M&A if opportunities arise. American Airlines is, I think, AAL is definitely one of those. And look, the president was very right today when he said that the Democrats made a mistake with Spirit Airlines. They did, and we talked about that.
Let's not make it our problem. We learned from TARP that we're not supposed to, and we have good friends that were involved in that program. We shouldn't be running banks, and we shouldn't be running airlines. Let's get some JetBlue back here. Can we get somebody back to the table? Let's get them going. If it's UAL,
Spirit Airlines, that's right. They should have merged. I was for that the whole way through. I thought that was a great merger. Right. And now both companies are hurting now. Those two companies could have come together and made a better airline. I fly on both, Spirit in Florida, right? I do the Hail Mary time I go on the plane, but you know, JetBlue same way. You know, but those
Spirit's a bus. It's not a plane. It's a bus that flies. Listen, it works. It works for those things. It is what it is.
It's great.
Listen, it has a niche that's needed. You know, and that's true. You know, to it. It's the same people, you know, and the problem is the same problem. I see all these people complaining that Cisco bought Restaurant Depot. And yeah, there's some worries, but there's more positives to it than negatives to what it should do. They say they're going to use that cheaper line, give it that access to restaurants. They're going to be in the cash and carry business, which they haven't been, which would be good. They'll do it better. Right. Probably the Restaurant Depot, they're big. You know, just because big gets bigger, it isn't always bad. Sometimes it's actually a positive for market. You need that size and width to do it. Like, I don't think UAL and AAL should merge. I think that is too
not at all.
Yeah, that should not. But if, you know, if a small, you know, like I said, if you could get JetBlue back to the table, or somebody
the
else.
problem in the airlines is still the same, right? That there are two issues this time. Is routes are getting devoured by bigger airlines, and that's the problem, right? So JetBlue and Spirit should come together. And the second problem is, and now we know who is in trouble with it. Was they weren't hedging their oil, right? They weren't hedging. They're hedging their jet fuel, and that's a problem, right? You remember your biggest expense is jet fuel. So why are you not hedging that?
Yeah, they need Ray Dalio, right? I mean, if he can teach farmers how to do futures on corn and other stuff so we can have chicken nuggets, then he can figure that out.
Right.
And if you don't know, that's really the case. In other words, when McDonald's wanted to create chicken nuggets, they couldn't get a guarantee for low enough priced chicken until Ray Dalio came to the table and said, what if we teach the farmers to hedge because they were worried about the price of feed? So
that's what we're doing at Quasar Markets.
Hedge with corn, and you'll be fine. And butter it up. My little 6-year-old can't get enough of those damn things.
Well,
I do not eat them.
I don't.
That's even too much for me. But yeah, we let her every once in a while.
They can eat them. But for me, I'm buying Lockheed Martin this morning. I'm buying IBM this morning. My powder's dry. I'm ready to go.
Next question,
and I'm buying SCO. Again, we're going to short oil again. Here we go. It's 740 something. I can't look at So look, there's going to be some tweet coming out today. We're going to take advantage of all of those things. IBM, I think, to me is definitely getting beaten up for literally no reason. I'll tell you something else that I didn't like the numbers are, and I think that I like what's going on is Tesla. Interestingly enough, I think that Elon Musk finally is becoming the CEO that he needs to be. Right, back to normal, get back to business, and get out of the politics and start to understand the markets again and fix his problems. Cars. He's got a great opportunity here. Especially with SpaceX, and I like this. Right, is SpaceX worth $1.7 trillion right out of the gate? No. Are people overpaying for their shares? Yes.
I've seen some crazy rumors on TV and the internet that is SpaceX going to buy Tesla and
I wouldn't be shocked.
I
wouldn't be shocked. I mean, if 1.7 trillion is worth more than 1.4, so the bankers will be happy to buy Tesla, but they'd have to buy a premium. So what would the premium be in Tesla? $400 or $500 a share, maybe somewhere around there. I don't know. Right now, I think that the what is the outstanding shares right now? Can't look at the numbers right now. My eyes are tight here. But I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, that's. The numbers just don't make sense, but the crazy rumors, okay, I guess, but I don't see it being the case. Dollar pushing up 98.72 here, so yeah.
And VIX still below 20. It's holding up, but not really moving up.
Well, when you think when the president orders every ship in the strait to be shot down, that's trying to. I like that, right? He's saying, okay, you know what? I can fight fire with fire, and I'm going to do that, and I don't blame him for that. So, we got to keep the strait open, but nobody's going through, right? That's what I understand.
No, neither side does not look like it there. So we'll see what happens there. Steve, I agree with you. Defense names have been beaten up this week during the earnings. I think you'll see that change. A lot of it because they didn't raise future guidance, as you mentioned. Right. They either just reiterated or they refused to kind of discuss it, so to speak. Anything else you're looking at here before I run?
Look, Raytheon, LMT, General Dynamics, GD, they're all been really, really beaten up because of it, and it's part of it, right? So I'm liking this a lot, but that's why they had the powder dry.
Absolutely. I love it. I do see, oh man, we got the legend in here with you this morning. So we'll bring Jeremy in here, get him going. Jeremy, how are you doing, man?
All right, what's up, gentlemen? I'm doing great. How are you, How are you boys?
Awesome. I'm gonna step out and let you guys take over. Have a great day, everybody.
Jeremy Newsom, the legend, is in. Appreciate that. And what do you got on the radar this morning, Jeremy? And there's so much. We talked about this last time that the world's nobody's happy, right? Democrats are unhappy, Republicans are unhappy, redistricting is unhappy, the somebody peed in my soup kind of feeling every day, right? It's like every day, man. What are you looking at? I'm buying IBM today, and I'm buying Lockheed Martin today.
Lockheed Martin. I haven't looked at that one yet. Yeah, IBM is down massive. I day trade Tesla almost every day. So
right. Yeah.
Today I will be day trading Tesla because it has a nice little gap on earnings, down 3%.
You like it the upside?
I like it to the downside. Yeah, I like it to the downside a little bit today.
Okay.
I don't necessarily disagree that it can go higher for sure, but I think today, tomorrow, maybe even Monday is a little bit more on the downside. But then upside, yeah. Last earnings, right? Last earnings, they had good earnings. They gapped up, they went down. So could this one gap down and go up? Short answer is yes, but I'll watch it to see if there's a short opportunity today.
There we go. Pulling Tesla up now for everybody. Just a question coming in now from AJ is asking, are you investing in IBM at this price or trading? That's a great question. We'll bring it up see the question. Yeah, the answer is yes. I am buying IBM. We all no, pull it up. There you go. You can see here what I'm looking at, 234. That's pretty much about where the bottom is, has been right here. Right here is 255, 250. That's where it goes back to. There's a little gap up here and another gap up here. So, and a gap here. So I like this. Yeah, I will be holding this for a little while. Unless we get a nice big, 8% pop here or something crazy, I don't think that's the case.
How do you make the determination, Steve, between if you're going to trade something and invest in something? It's probably good for all of your fans, all the fanboys.
Yeah, that's a good point. It depends on how much money I make, right?
Yeah.
When you look at an investment, just like yesterday with car, I knew that it was an in and out. So I already know the game plan before I go in. It's part of my rules, right? I know why I'm getting into it. I know what it is. And I always tell people the same thing. If you cannot tell me within 3 sentences, like I'm a 5-year-old, what that company does, then you shouldn't be investing in it, right? You don't understand how they make the money. You don't understand how they got to the numbers or where they're at. And in investing, it's literally a numbers game, right? People don't understand that. It's still a numbers game. We're still investing because the price of something is not the right price. I mean, you heard Howard this morning, Jeremy, talk about Tesla for your case. What's the thesis behind Tesla for you? Do they get bought out by SpaceX? Is it that they're delivering on car numbers? What is it about it in Tesla?
Yeah, I mean, long term, phenomenal vehicles. I drive one. They're economical. They have great internal financing. They have great internal insurance. They are safe to drive. They drive themselves. They reduce your stress. They make your life easier. They cost less because you don't have to pay in fuel. The electricity is less than gasoline. There's so many different factors, and that's just one of them. I mean, that's just the car factor. Let's not even mention the manufacturing. Let's not mention the profits. Let's not mention the revenue. Let's not mention that people hate on it. I love buying things that people hate. Right. Because if someone hates it and it starts going higher, that means it's probably going to keep going higher.
But I don't think they hate the car. They hate the CEO.
Yeah, correct. That was correct. Exactly. No one hates the car.
I don't hate the CEO. Actually, I said this morning on the show, Jeremy. I kind of like this new Elon Musk is coming out. He's reinventing himself again, right?
He is. Yeah, he is.
I like
totally.
that.
Totally. But I mean, I love trading Tesla. It's very volatile. It moves about on average, $9 a day. So it's just a good opportunity to be in. Now, I am a long-term holder of Tesla, and there's a bunch of different reasons why. But I mean, I think one of them is robots, right? Robots will be driving your vehicles soon.
Can't wait for that.
The semi truck, when it starts coming out, like that's going to be a really, really cool invention. A self-driving semi truck, like that's going to be a revolutionary product for so many industries and companies. But yeah, man, there's a lot on the list today. There really is. Today, this week, earnings season is here. We're in the prime of it. Robinhood with earnings next week is going to be really, really interesting to me. I'm kind of hoping that we gap down and we trade down into 80. And then we end up going higher into 115 in the next 2 or 3 months. I'm bullish on Robinhood. I love the products. I think the prediction markets are absolutely killing it. I really like this little push that we're getting right now, and I would love to see it trade down into 80 before it goes into 115.
And Kalshi and prediction markets now, poly market, they're all getting into these perps now, and it's getting worse and worse in regards to the gambling aspect of Kalshi and prediction markets. Yeah, I think their biggest problem is political, right? I don't think the Democrats are going to allow that when they take over the House and Senate in November.
Mhm.
I think Kalshi and Polymarket earned some. I think they're running hard now to try to get ahead of that. But I think they're in trouble, and I think they're. I get that they've hired some new people to help, new lawyers, new we call K Street lobbyists to help them protect themselves, but I don't think it's going to help them in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, they're already getting kind of toasted. I have a Kalshi account, full disclosure, and I live in Las Vegas, and they already have the regulations where I can't sports predict anymore.
Yeah.
So the lobbyists already got them. So here in Nevada, I can't interact with any sports. They're like, hey, you can still bet on politics and stuff.
Yeah, and we do that all the day long. I mean, we invest in politics all day long when you play the stock market, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
Jeremy, I think a lot of people don't know the story about you. Let's tell the story about you, how you in that big fruit company that you invested in as a kid.
Yeah, man. I mean, the movie Forrest Gump changed my life forever. I watched it the very first time when I was 6 years old, 1994. And when the movie was coming out, I was watching it with my dad, my older brother. And I grew up very poor in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, where the mosquitoes are the size of pterodactyls. I grew up in a single-wide trailer treehouse. It was like a redneck Swiss Family Robinson type of thing in the middle of nowhere, Cleto, Georgia, next to the Ogeechee River. And when I watched that film, about 80% of the way through the movie, Forrest Gump says, there's a scene, right, where he walks up to the mailbox. Lieutenant Dan invested in some kind of fruit company and said, we don't have to worry about money no more. So I said, good, one less thing. And I'd never heard the words. I'd never even heard the phrase, we don't have to worry about money anymore. That was what's called a paradigm shift, a whole new belief system for me. So I begged my dad, like, tell me what is a fruit company? I had no idea. Just thought it'd be the coolest thing ever to never have to worry about money. So my dad talks to me about Apple computers and what they do and what they are going to create for the world and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, I did. I begged him to buy some shares after he explained it to me. And his formula still holds true to this day. I mean, he wasn't a stock market investor by any means, but he said, Jeremy, look, son, if a company makes more money because people are buying their products and more people buy their products, they're going to make more money. And if a company is more profitable and the revenue keeps going up, eventually their stock price is going to go higher. That was the wealth formula he gave me for the stock market. So I was okay.
Now here we are a long time later. Now we have a new CEO. We had two CEOs, right? It's Tim Cook now. And then, of course, now we have a new one now coming in. Are you still feeling the same love for Crapple that I hated back in the day?
Yeah, man. It just makes too much money. I mean, their store, the App Store, makes $1 million an hour. Like they just make too much money passively right now. And the fact that they are under the radar with the whole AI thing, I don't think that's by accident. I don't think they're sleeping at the wheel. I think the reason that Tim Cook is stepping off is because they're handing off a project that is astronomical. It's just my opinion, of course, but they have so much cash. They're very much like Berkshire Hathaway, right? They're just stacking cash and they're ready to invest into the next legacy, the next generation, the next product or innovation. So they're getting ready. And it's an older company at this point, right, man? It's been around forever.
What are they investing in? I mean, I have complained about them so much about they're so far behind on AI. What are they going to invest in? I like this new CEO. He's a hardware guy, right? He's the head of hardware. I love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be human hardware. That's where they're gonna go, dude.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, human hardware. So essentially, like, just think about hearts, lungs, kidneys, livers. Like they're going to go that direction where you can buy an Apple subscription, heart monitoring. I mean, they already have so much of it on your phone, right? They already have so much
I already got it on my watch or whatever, right?
Yes. And so they're going to start going that direction where, just again, my opinion, I could be entirely wrong. I don't work for Apple, but they're innovating, man. They're innovating.
Pakistan has a proposal right now to open the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for partial lifting of sanctions on Iran. Yeah, for the stalled talks, Trump extends the ceasefire indefinitely, citing fractured Tehran leadership. So I guess what's happening, he's saying, I don't know who to talk to, but Pakistan says they do, and that they know what they're asking for. So I'm shorting oil here. Again, I think the oil market's overinflated again, and I like some of this stuff going on here.
Yeah. How do you short oil? You short the contracts?
I'm buying SEO. I thought about futures, but it's been so easy just to buy SEO for future oil. But you know what? I think you're right. I think probably some contracts, futures contracts. I'm really liking this July contract for oil, and I think December contract for oil could be another short too. I'm a little concerned about July because that's driving season, right? But they're going to have such a glut of it. I'm concerned that having that much oil, you know, and people don't really realize that it's not oil. It does not just make gasoline; it makes everything, plastics.
Yeah, everything, dude, all of it. I am watching. We haven't talked about. I'm watching HIMS.
Okay,
today for a day trade. This will be just a quick little fast little mover. It's a cute little gap. Not up a lot, but up 4%. Yesterday you had an inside down day. So inside down days with the gap up above the prior high of the day is one of my favorite little patterns.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting this one to go.
Yeah, and of course with the new Eli Lilly connection now, and as of yesterday, right? I think they now have all the Eli, and of course I'm on that Eli Lilly's drug now, Zepbound. I love it. I love the fact that Hims and Hers. I was very angry with the company because they were doing it the wrong way. They were trying to steal the you can't do that, these folks, right? But I like the way they're doing it now. They're going to the company and say, look, we'll sell it to you, to the retailers. We'll retail the products for you. And I think that's great for a lot of people who can't get access to the drug. So
yeah, yep, yeah, man. I mean, it's it's cool. It's gonna be interesting to see how it kind of plays out. But
so you're still gonna say long Hims and Hers, is that correct?
Yeah, long. Again, just my opinion, of course, but it would be a day trade. From a swing trade perspective, I actually do like it as well. I mean, it was down at 16 and had a huge gap up on news back on March the 9th. You had tons of selling volume. We kind of squeezed those sellers out. We've made new highs. We've made new lows. We've reclaimed the 200 SMA on the weekly chart. So I could see this getting back to 36, probably no problem over the next, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days. But 40 is very doable back for him. So once it gets back above 33, people will start actually seeing and having favor in it again. And I can look at this chart and kind of tell, at least on a weekly chart, that there's some institutional volume starting to come in. Yeah. So in general, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like that too as well. And I think you're right. You're right there. Rune is telling me everything here, and ATR obviously average shoot range. We're getting close to those. Yeah, I think that's part of your favorites, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Do you trade options a lot, Steve?
Oh my God, I was born and raised in options and futures. But I'll tell you, lately I've just been kind of laying out off of the options market because I think it's nonsense right now in the options markets. I think there's too much craziness in there. And it's not being used for what I grew up learning, right? So I've kind of laid off a little bit. I still play options. I have a lot of leaps on things. One of them I have leaps on is Walmart. I think Walmart's one of those companies that will, as long as you have a longer term thought process behind it, you can pretty much buy any leap you want. All right, we got about here we go, Jeremy. Got 45.
Yeah, here we go
for the open. I am. Yeah, as I said, I'm going to pull up IBM here as we go into the open here. There we go. And I'm going to pull up a 10-second chart. Tighten it up a little bit for us. And I think the first move will probably be to the downside. We'll see. It's way down there. Wow. Okay, let's go. Let's see this puppy. 230, 279. I got about, here we go.
Yeah, IBM's going to be wild.
5 seconds.
That's gonna be fun.
$231.76, 231.98. Let's see.
All right, just like that, in and out of hymns. 1,400 shares at 30, sold them at 31.
My man, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're going here. I'm in IBM now at 231.15 here on the open.
Okay.
Yeah.
IBM.
I also bought SCO here at 742, so I think that's same about. I'm still about everything's about right where I'm at. I might buy a little bit more IBM down here too. I think I actually I like this move here on IBM.
What platform are you trading through, Steve?
Which one? You name one. I pretty much right now I'm E-Trade.
Yeah. Okay.
I have IBKR, and you know, if that's a good point too as well, Jeremy. No one should have one account because if one account goes down, you still need to have the ability to move. And I have 17, so
nice. IBKR all-time highs just last week, 82. Unbelievable, that chart. Good grief.
There we go. I had a feeling IBM might slip a little bit on the options market, but the institutions are buying it up, right? They're saying, okay, screw you, you know, that's just part of the game here.
Yeah, they got to squeeze people out first.
Got to squeeze them. Yeah. SCO's not moving here. I'm still looking at Lockheed Martin here. Pull up Lockheed Martin. Yeah, looking at the tick now, flat on the day here, and Q still flat. There goes a little bit of selling now here in the dollar. Oil pushing up just a little bit. Bitcoin 77.8 here.
Yeah, I bought my birthday is May 2nd, Steve. I bought a Bitcoin at all sevens.
All right, well there you go.
777777. Figured why not? You know, pick one up.
Trump says he agrees that no deal is needed to get what he wants in Iran. So it looks like he's doing his own thing here.
Per the usual.
Exactly.
Yeah. What would you say your favorite stock is for the next like 3 months? If you had to buy one stock for 3 months from now.
Same one you asked me about the last time you asked me that question. That's still NVIDIA. I mean, no, I don't think there's a better company on the planet right now than NVIDIA. I think Jensen Huang has his ducks in a row and he knows what he's doing.
They look strong, man. It does.
Yeah, I like NVIDIA a lot. Yeah. And I bought a little bit more IBM here as well, for those of you who were asking me earlier. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like this IBM move here, folks. If you're in IBM with me, I think we're going to see a flip here really quick. Yeah.
It's like 1999 again. IBM and Intel.
Yeah, I'm in at 229.96, so I think we'll probably be above that here a little bit. DCA, Dan. I do like Royal Caribbean here too, as well. I think Royal Caribbean's got a really good play here with their new beaches and their new hotels and owning islands. Tick now dropping 400 now as oil is pushing higher here a little bit. Not by much, but a little bit. I think some of the news is still coming in. What about Lululemon here with the new CEO from Nike?
Oh, poor Lulu's in a death spiral.
Women still buy the product though.
Yeah, I know, but there's so much competition with that. There's so many other brands, and the technical charts just look dead to me. I can't. I have attempted to buy Lulu, and every time I attempt to buy it, I'm like, wow, it just keeps going lower. I think you see Lulu under 100 this year, dude.
Service now is now down 15%. I think it's the most in like Oh my God, look at ServiceNow, NOW.
Woo!
Yeah, ServiceNow getting absolutely cratering here. You have to go all the way back to, oh my goodness, you have to go back to, geez Louise, I can't even read that date, 2023, somewhere around there. Like, they're talking about 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years, 6 years ago.
Yeah, ServiceNow getting absolutely smoked. Let's see. When it was at this price last time, they were doing $1.2 billion a quarter. Now they're doing 3.75 a quarter, and they're the same price. It's kind of interesting. A little unique. Unique New York.
And I'm in Lockheed Martin at 527.74, but I didn't tell anybody that. I apologize. 527.74. I'm in Lockheed Martin. And I think it's one that I will just hold for a while too, as well. That's why have been raising all this cash, so that I could buy these shares. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
And I think I'm going to continue to buy some more here by IBM here. I really like this sell-off. I think the sell-off is nuts. And look, folks, if you don't know, IBM has a large number of people that work for the company, and they buy their own shares too. So I know that's coming up as well. So I like all this stuff here, Jeremy. I think, yeah. MongoDB, MDB down 5.24%. Interesting there too. IBM being down 10% is absolutely nuts. That's just silly. It's just silly talk here.
It's silly talk.
It's just silly talk.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, tick now pushing back up here, now positive at 63. WTI 94.17 here on spot oil. 10-year now 4.294. Kevin Worst, does he get? I think he gets approved, and I also think he starts the process of possibly lowering some rates. I don't know how he's going to do it just yet, but I think he might get some of it done. Your thought process on that?
In my opinion, that's the only thing Trump wants to do, is increase the value of real estate. And he'll do anything he can to do that. His initial goal was tariffs. He's like, all right, let's just make housing more expensive to build. Therefore, we'll make less homes, and that'll force the demand through less supply. And he's been trying to go for interest rate decreasing the entire time, because his main goal in office is increase the value of real estate.
Lockheed Martin up $10 since I purchased the stock here. Now 536.71 here. So nice little move here on Lockheed Martin. I thought, Lockheed Martin over the last few days has really just been absolutely crushed here. You can see this massive selling here all the way down. But I think we're in that base now where, and we're below that, where I'm thinking that we could it get down to the force? I don't think so. I think we're starting to see a little bit where if we are literally, sales are at 18 billion, right? I mean, net income of almost 2 billion. I get it, but they have a backlog of $186 billion. Like, folks, what the heck?
Yeah. Yep. People are using their product, my man. That is for sure.
Kind of reminds me of Boeing, right? During COVID, under 100. That was an easy buy for me, under 100.
Yeah, Boeing had great earnings yesterday. Great earnings, dude. $22 billion. Really good.
Can't wait for that new car, right? Or the new plane, right?
Yeah, man. New, really good gap yesterday on earnings. Nice little move. Super nice. What do you think about Webull, Steve? Is it going to hit 10?
I like Webull.
Is that one of your accounts you have? Do you have Webull?
I do not have Webull. We all know everybody there, and Moo. I like those companies. I like what they're doing with the retail side of things. I think the problem with Webull is that they're betting too much on their stock buyback.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothers me a little bit. Oops, sorry. While I know that they think that that they're good to go, I'm not sure. I need to see numbers, right? I need to see what they're working on, guys. If you know, this is an $80 stock back at the beginning of all this, and now the stock's at around $7. So, I think there's going to be some M&A play here. The world of fintech is very saturated, right? That there's a lot of, as we grow and build new stuff, and companies kind of go and come and the ecosystem. I think that what a lot of people don't really realize is that I think the M&A here is going to be very good. It's very expensive to gain new users, right? To get more people to sign up for their account. Wow, IBM's still slipping here. 223 now share here. But I'm not too scared about it, right? I think you're going to see M&A in the fintech space.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's a super great buyout opportunity.
Ooh, this is really sharp here. I like this move here on Lockheed Martin. We get this turn here in the 3-minute with the Wall Street turn, as we call it. This could be really sharp here on Lockheed Martin. I mean, it's had a heck of a sell-off over the last 10 days. IBM now down 12%. This is just this is way out of whack here, folks. They beat on every earnings, and yeah. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, talked about the other day, down 6% here. MongoDB down 6.3%. Oracle down 4.34%. Microsoft still struggling. They're on the struggle bus.
Yep.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was just going to. They are. They've been getting beat up pretty strongly recently.
They told me that my new Xbox, I have the Game Plus Ultimate, so I can play whatever I want to play, and they're going to lower my cost. Have you ever heard that before? They're going to lower your cost and get rid of Call of Duty. What? Leave my Call of Duty alone, man. I'm not killing aliens.
Oh, that's funny.
Lockheed Martin 535 now here, share. That's what I kind of this stock is going to push right back up. There's a big gap there all the way.
Yeah,
back
it's a nice gap down. The 200 SMA, which is one of my favorite moving average on the daily charts, right here. You had so many days of selling. It was at 610.
Yeah,
a week ago, right? It was at almost 700 a month ago. So yeah, I think this is a little bit too dramatic of selling, especially again being in war. Like these war stocks, since we're currently in one, I think ultimately we'll do okay.
And I think institutional will back it up too as well. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Steve, as always, bro, it's something good hanging out with you, hearing your voice and trading with you, man. Making a little bit of money today on some day trades. Thank you, homie.
You're very welcome, man. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, Rockstar, you're the man.
Yeah, we're gonna just get back to Lululemon here. Lululemon now down about 9%. That's just absolutely just ridiculous. These stocks are getting beat up for no reason, folks. I don't like this. I mean, I think the market is overbought. We all know that, how my feeling is about this, but some of this stuff is out of control here. He's overselling and overbuying through options is really hurting the markets here. But makes it easier for me to buy. Appreciate it. And IBM's starting to come back right back up here. Yeah. And they cleared everybody out of IBM, and now the buyers are stepping right back in. I think the shorts are clear. Yeah, you're starting to see the Qs now, the highest of the day here now. So 226 now on IBM. Royal Caribbean 268.53 now, 268.73 now, pushing higher here. Royal Caribbean 265 is where I usually start to buy it. I didn't make the move here. Maybe should have done that quicker, but didn't play that one yet. Crude oil 94.25, 27 now on the spot. 226.50 now on IBM as we now starting to push higher here now. All right, let's go. 227 now on IBM. So those, yes, as I said earlier, I thought it was nuts. Unity Software now down 4.5%. I thought that was just a little too much for me. S&P manufacturing PMI now coming in at 54. That's good. Manufacturing numbers. There's what Steve Flanagan was talking about, right? These numbers coming out. I like these numbers here. This is good. Manufacturing pushing higher here. PMI flash numbers coming out. There you go. Liking this here. Services numbers are actually pushing up too as well. Those are good numbers, folks. Q's pushing higher here. Yep, Lockheed Martin 534 now a share here. So I'm liking this Lockheed Martin feel here. This is really good here. And it could close that gap pretty quickly too if we start to see more pushing here. $6.55 now on the Qs here as we are pushing higher here in the Qs. All right, seeing the Qs continue to push here. I like this 10-year now 4.294 here. We need oil to drop, which looks like we're seeing oil starting to slip a bit here. And 10-year now 4.294 here. Spot gold 47.37 here. $94 a barrel now. Slipping this a little bit here on oil. If we can get oil to slip us a little bit, that would help the markets just a little bit here. Help us out. Tick now up 104 here, so I think we could see some push here. I know people have been asking about car now down 26% here. Yeah, continuing to sell off here. This was over 847 now down. Now still the lows a day on car, getting absolutely obliterated. Lululemon still getting smacked here. Car now 325.11 lows of the day here, and continuing to sell off here as probably insiders are just enjoying the free money here. Lockheed Martin holding up, and IBM holding up 226. So I liking this. I think we'll get back over 230 here today at some point. We have a huge gap now in this so that you'll start to see the buyer stepping in. The Q is taking a little bit of a selling here now. It's profit taking Dow down 178 points here, 0.36%. But the SPOO's here flat on the day here, only down 5 points here. So not much of a move here as we're waiting on news, right? It's all about what's the next tweet coming out. SCO 740 still the same. Royal Caribbean 268. Tick now up 145. Tick up 200 now here. Oh, is my audio cut? Sorry, can you guys hear me? Yep. Avis CAR now 327, 324 now. Wow, getting absolutely obliterated down here. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up or let me know if you can hear me still. 324, still slipping here. Thanks, Carla. Appreciate it. Yep. Technology today, correct? 318 now. Car still getting slaughtered here. If you can short, man. I mean, this is getting short. It's just crazy right now. Tesla 326.73, only down 3%. I like the Tesla. I think Jeremy's right about Tesla. I think the pull up here I think is pretty good here. I like this. Lockheed Martin slipping just a little bit, 529. Not too worried about it. Want to keep pushing that puppy up. You'll start to see the buyers stepping back in. I'm not worried about today. We're going to go long term with that one for sure. And I say long term, give me $10 out of it. I think I'll be happy. $20 out of it, I think will be really good. $77.4 now on Bitcoin, still slipping here. Lockheed Martin 530 now once again here on pushing higher here a little bit. Eli Lilly still slipping a little bit, but here we go. Come on, Mr. Oil. Let's drop here. Let's get this break. Let's break that 93.85 there. Let's get down below those numbers there and slip. I like this. GE Verona yesterday. We know that from yesterday. It was definitely below the numbers that I had shorted it yesterday and up again today a little bit. Still not quite where I wanted it to be. There you go from yesterday. So GE Verona is still pushing higher here, liking it here. 531 now on Lockheed Martin. That's what I'm saying. I didn't think that would be one that would take the pressure there. IBM, we'll check back in on IBM here. 225 again. I like this. I think we'll be back at 250 here. There's a massive gap here to cover up, and I like that. I think we'll see that gap getting covered again. Oil still holding here, somewhat steady here a little bit. Lululemon, is it still getting Slaughtered to the death core here, 144 here. Not quite all the way, but gosh, really, really close to the, yeah, there it is. Almost the lows of the day now, down 12%. Oof. I said yesterday, I think Lululemon and Nike should get together. Those two companies should literally merge. If there's any time to do it, now is the time to do it. Dollar now pushing higher here, 98.70. It's just a wee bit here. $5.31 a quarter here now. Okay, tick now slipping here, down 446 here. So be careful. The markets are looking to pull back just a little bit. Donut, Krispy Kreme, their DNUT now under the $4 handle here. I did like Donut. I thought that was a good play. People have been asking me what the next play is. Could an AI play happen here? And I think one that I do like here is possibly a Xerox. If Xerox got back into the game and said AI, I think Xerox could turn the corner here and go straight up here. This is one of those companies that could do that. I might take a flyer here on Xerox here in the next couple of days, by the way. Lockheed Martin still doing its thing here. 534 and a quarter, 534 and a half here. I do like this move here. And you're bouncing around the 200. I like it. You're bouncing in the Ichimoku clouds. I like that too. The clouds, the Bollinger Bands have expanded. I like that. All these things that should tell you that the selling is pretty much over in Lockheed Martin, I think is what's telling me now. So yeah, 535 coming up here. Look at that. I like this. There it is, 535.05. Yeah, I like this. Come on. Let's break the highs of the day here. Tick now flat of the day. IBM 226 and a quarter here now. Again, I think that was silly talk. So I said earlier today. So yeah. All right, top of the hour here, folks. And it got kind of quiet in the markets. We know that 4.29 now on the 10-year. So it's WTI is still holding here, but slipping. And Lockheed Martin 537 now, nearing the highs of the day. All right, for those of us in Quasar Markets, appreciate you guys watching us. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Hey, we've done okay today. If you were playing Lockheed Martin with us today, and we'll have IBM tomorrow, you're still winning. So we'll see you right back here tomorrow.